Hello and welcome to my optimization video. This was made by Scott Richardson, me, and I will be narrating this video for you. So the contents of this video are the testing results of XP version 25 and 26, the optimization of the XP versions and the difference between each version. This includes version 26 XP, version 25 XP, and version 26 Linux. So in this screenshot you can see that this is the testing results of version 25, 90 frames per second, the CPU usage of 48% and 57.5 megabytes. In this screenshot you can see the testing results of version 26. This is the final version with 89 FPS, 48% CPU usage and 62.3 megabytes RAM usage. These are the results. As you can see from the prototype build, the optimized build has a significantly higher frame rate, a lower memory usage, and a slightly lower CPU usage. This result is also carried through to the final build, which loses 1 FPS, gains a slight increase in memory usage, and continues to only use 48% of the CPU. So for optimization, I created a loop so that I only used one node per object, so this saved on memory usage. I reduced the detail of the map and the texture of the map from 512 by 512 to 256 by 256. I also reduced the roughness of the terrain so that it reduced the surface area and therefore increased performance. The water, which was added in version 25, this feature was not present in the prototype version, was it was heavy on performance, so I decided to stretch the texture out and to reduce the tile count to increase performance. And I finally decreased the view range of the camera. So in these two screenshots you can see on the left, this is the unoptimized version. This has one eye animated mesh which loads in the object and then has several nodes which produce each of the objects that you see in the scene. Now in the optimized version I used a structure type and then loaded that into an array and filled it, so each one would have a position, rotation and scale. So for slot 1 you'd have house 1, position, rotation, scale, and then that would continue for the rest of them. And then for the main for loop, you would have a count which would be based on what loop you would be entering. And this would then determine, so for example, if you're in the first loop, it would be count 1. It would make the first eye animated mesh and load that object into the engine. And then what it would do is it would enter another loop, and that would determine how many times the code would be repeated for each node. And it would also apply a collision triangle to it that would collide with the camera. And based on the number of times that loop reoccurs, it will create another object within the scene based upon the count of the for loop, which would then correlate to the position in the array for static models. The optimization of water was to simply increase the size of the tile. So as you can see in the top one, it was unoptimized, it was 255 by 255, and there were 40 tiles wide by 40 tiles high. In the optimized version, I increased the size of the tiles to 1000 by 1000, and then only had about 10 of these tiles within the level. In the view range optimization, I initially had a view range of 24,000, and this was way too big. You don't need 24,000 view range, so I decided to cut it down to something more acceptable, which was 1500 for camera 1, which is the first person camera, and camera 0, which is the minimap, was 3000. Now we're going to talk about the difference between each version. Version 25 XP was the optimized version from the prototype. This included 5 houses, 5 static objects, 5 billboards, and water. This also contained Beep. Now I'm going to talk about the difference between each version. Version 25, the optimized point on this means that it contained the water, all the optimization features that were mentioned previously. So this had 5 houses, 5 static objects, and 5 animated billboards. There is a sound and a no sound version, and both of these versions use Direct 3D9. The second version, which is the final version of the EXE, is version 26 XP. This is optimized, has 10 houses, 10 static objects, and 10 animated billboards. It has a sound and no sound version, and they both run Direct 3D9. And the final version is version 26, which is essentially the same as version 26 XP, except it's working in Linux. This is optimized 10 houses, 10 static objects, 10 billboards. It is a no sound version only and runs OpenGL. And finally, just going to go over a video of some testing results. As you can see, this was tested in a virtual computer, and it's only running at 5 to 6 FPS because I was having some performance issues with the virtual machine. Now I do expect this to run at a higher frame rate on a dedicated computer which runs Linux by default. Anyway, that's all for this video, so thank you very much for watching. And just as a little bit of a bonus, this is my scene running. Now obviously it's going to be running at a fixed FPS because of fraps, so it's 390 rather than what it usually would be around the 900 to 1400s. As you can see, the scene is running sound. You have animated water. It might be a bit hard to see because the texture's been stretched. And you have these buildings, which you can go inside. You have full collision models. You have fires which you can collide with. You can fly around if you want, just to get well, not fly around, but jump high and fly for a short while. You can also stand on the roofs, and these are also fully collidable. So again, thank you very much for watching, and hope you enjoyed my scene.